Hi there, everybody. Good to be here. Good morning, everyone. This is Twanda.
We're going to start off with telling you what is WTF. And if you're thinking you know what WTF is, we're going to change your mind on that. It's Working Together Fridays. It's a free webinar. We do it once a month, generally on the third Friday, and we do it at 9 a.m. so we can start our weekends early. Who's it for? People doing trials with Constant Contact, if you're new to Constant Contact, or if you're experienced in using Constant Contact. Why do we do it? We want to support you. We want to keep you up to date, and there has been a lot of changes, so we got a lot of updates for you. And we want to provide you specific answers, so when you ask questions, we answer those on a first-come basis, and then we hope you learn from each other's questions. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Pam Furlong, and I'm in the Tucson area, and Lynn Ruby is in the East Valley of Phoenix, and Twanda Hill is in the West Valley, and she also spends part of her time in Seattle. So that's the three of us, and we are authorized local experts with Constant Contact. Every year we have to be certified to maintain that status, and that's who we are. So today's marketing tip is there's lots of change coming. So for many of you, you have seen the change. And that change is that it's here. So last month we talked about it's coming. This time we're talking about it's here, the third generation editor. Now, you're going to notice that there's a second generation editor that your computer will default to. And I will show you how to get to the third generation editor. Twanda, if you can take over and show your screen on the video, that would be fantastic.
Gotcha.
Creating a professional email campaign like this is really simple and can be broken down into 4 easy steps. Choosing your template, customizing it, sending it to your list, and then seeing how your campaign did in your reports. The first step to
Wanda, we lost your sound.
Pam, are you doing something? Because your screen is taken over.
I'm not doing anything. Let me see if I can get it back over to you. So yeah, no, I pulled my hands away from the screen. So let's see, screen sharing. See whose screen we're on. I'm actually seeing your screen, and I don't see you as somebody to make a presenter. So.
Okay, so I'm the presenter. And now all of a sudden it's presenting, but it's no video. The the sound has disappeared, Pam.
Oh, I got to share with you all. We worked really hard on the sound, and the fact that showing it is because her sound was working on the video and mine wasn't this morning, and now we don't have any sound. So. You know what? We're going to skip this video. Twanda, if you can send it back over to me. And gotcha. I apologize for that. Best laid plans. Okay, let me get over back to my screen. Okay, here's how you get to that second and third generation editor. It will default to the second generation, and in the upper right hand, when you're looking at your templates, if you click on View New Templates, that'll take you to the third generation editor. And if you're in the third generation editor and you want to go back, in the template section, you would just click on View Legacy Templates. If you see View Legacy, then that means that you're in the Generation 3, and if you see View New Templates, you're in Generation 2. So really encourage you to reach out to us and have us help you with that. There's slight changes. The benefits are that it allows you to quickly create professionally branded and mobile responsive emails, to insert and size your images, and select and apply colors. So what does quicker mean? Quicker setup means you get to focus more on your content. So I think that's the real advantage of it. It allows you to do things in a lot quicker speed. Okay, we're going to open this up to your questions. Thank you for those of you who submitted questions. And we're going to start off with Lynn. And Lynn had the first question from Ronald. How can I insert a video into my email with the third generation editor since the third generation editor doesn't yet have the insert video function? Lynn.
Thank you, Pam.
You know, that is a tongue tire for me.
How can I insert a video into my email when the third generation editor doesn't yet have the insert video function? So you may be disappointed when you get into the third generation editor and discover that what happened to my little insert video button where I just clicked insert a video, and then all I had to do was put the URL from YouTube or wherever, and my video would pop in there. So I want to show you a workaround around this limitation. And I want to also tell you that, you know what, it's not really a limitation. I'll tell you why in a minute. We can go to the next slide, Pam. What we're going to do, what I'm going to show you,
the next slide, all I got from you, Lynn, was this slide. So in your slide deck.
Oh, no, I have a whole series of like 6 slides that demonstrated this. Oh, no, never mind. You're right, Pam. I need to have control of the screen so I can show you all how to do this.
Okay, yeah, you had me scared there for a minute, girl.
Hey, you know what? I just tell everybody, I've had no air conditioning all week long until yesterday, so my brain is a little fried. So
It's Friday. It's Friday, and it's too early for happy hour, okay?
Yes, it is. So am I the presenter?
Yes, you just have to accept it now.
There we go. All right, show my screen. So what I want to show you, so do you see YouTube, a YouTube screen? Pam?
Not.
No.
No.
Now we do.
Now you do. Okay. You see my mouse moving around here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that you are on YouTube and you find a video that you want to put into your email, okay? Or let's say that you created your own video and it's on YouTube. Or you created your own video and it is on your website. Doesn't really matter where the video is. This will work regardless, okay? So what we're going to essentially do is create a picture, in other words, a JPEG of the video screen, and we're going to insert that into our Constant Contact email as a picture and link that picture to where the video lives. So let me show you how to do that, okay? First step is to go to the video that you want to put into your email. And I am going to actually, what I want you to do first, I'm going to turn the sound off so we don't have to listen to that. Find in the video, there, I think this is the one I like. Find in the video a thumbnail that you would like to use inside your Constant Contact email. So this will be the image that shows in your Constant Contact email, okay? And I think that this is the thumbnail or the picture that I want to have as my video image in my email. So what I'm going to do then is take a screenshot of this whole screen here. And if you have a PC, you may or may not know that down here in the corner, if you click your Start button, you can select your snipping tool right here. On a Mac, I don't know what it is, but I know there's another function to do a snip of what's ever on your screen. So we're going to select the snipping tool, and we get this little crossbar that's going to pop up in just a minute, just like this. I'm going to click, hold, and drag just around this video thumbnail, this image. And when I release my mouse, this pops up. This is the picture that I took on my screen. I'm going to click File, Save As. And it automatically calls it capture. You can call it whatever you want. Video screenshot, okay? And take note of where you're saving it. In my case, I'm saving it to my desktop, and I click Save. So now I've simply saved a thumbnail image of that particular video. I can close out of Snipping Tool, and then I'm going to go into, leave this window open, YouTube. I'm going to go into my Constant Contact, which I already have open, okay? I'm going to get rid of some of this. Go into the block that you want to add your video to. Simply do an Insert Image. And then this is not third generation editor, by the way. I'm showing you how in the old version, but it works the same. So I'm going to insert an image right here. And it's going to ask me what image do you want to insert, right? And so I will upload file. Browse my computer to upload this image, and I'll go to my desktop and find that picture, that screenshot that I just took, and upload that. I'm done. And then I'm going to click Customize. So here's the image that I'm inserting. I'm going to resize it just a little bit. That looks about right. So you see how this is a JPEG, but it looks like a video, right? Because it's got the player buttons down here and all of that. It's obviously a video. Now, before I insert this, I want to go back to YouTube, copy this URL up here. I'm going to right-click my mouse and select Copy. Go back into Constant Contact, and right here, I'm going to right-click and select Paste. And that is the link that links this image to that video location. Then I can select Insert, and there is my video inside my Constant Contact email. All right? So when somebody receives this, if they click on this image, they will be taken directly to YouTube, in this case, where this video resides, in order to watch that particular video. Okay? Now, why is this not a drawback to the third generation editor, in my opinion? Okay? I will tell you that I think this is what you should do every single time anyway, instead of using the video insertion tool that Constant Contact gives us in the second generation editor. And the reason is I really want you to send people to your website to watch your videos rather than to YouTube. Because if you send them to your website to watch your video, then you have them as a captive audience. If you send them to YouTube, even if it's your video on YouTube, if you send them there or some other video hosting site to watch your video, they can get distracted by everything else that is on there. So I would tell you to have your videos on your website, take a snapshot of them or a screenshot, just as I showed you, and insert them into your emails and send those out rather than sending them to YouTube or any other hosting site. Okay? So that's how you insert a video in your email inside the third generation editor. That's it.
Hey, Lynn, thanks a lot. That was great. That was great, because that has been a big question that came. Hey, where did the video inserter go?
Yes.
So thank you for clearing that up. That has been a huge question.
Good. So I'm going to send control back to you, Pam.
Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Twanda, Lynn, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Fantastic. Twanda, I believe the next question, you're not seeing my screen?
Gotcha. Here we go. Okay. I got it now.
Okay, let me get you to the next slide. I got to put it back in slideshow mode. There we go. All right, and the next question is from Jackie. Why run online registrations?
Hello, everybody. It's Twanda. Len, great tip. I liked when you did that snippet since it had that the forward button and the play button for the video. So that was really cool. I was wondering how you were going to capture that piece. So thank you for sharing that. See, we're learning as we go as well. So Jackie had a question about online registrations and why use them. And one of the reasons that you want to use the online registration is because the tools are direct tools, and attendees can register without having to manually speak to each person who wants to register. You can combine the event with management tools, and you can integrate your online registrations with your social media and marketing tools. And for those of you who are Constant Contact members, you have to have the email plus campaigns to be able to use the online events and registration tools. So you can either do that on a regular basis, or if you are doing an event, you only do maybe 2 events a year, you can a la carte and purchase just the event for those couple events. Let's go to the next screen.
Okay, I'm trying to get there, Twanda, so bear with me. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so this is what it looks like to have an online event registration. One of the things is that because we've trained people to think of doing everything electronically, 50% of invitees expect to receive an online registration. Next slide. The crazy thing is that you're even getting electronic evites for weddings. There's a whole host of sites that you can just plan your entire wedding online. I still think that's a little bit different, but hey, if you're trying to save dollars, it seems to work. The key about online registrations and why it's so successful is that the information is available 24/7 and it's all in one place. You can collect all the information in just a simple yes or no RSVP type, or you can do declines, you can collect demographic information, and it just makes it very, very efficient if you're planning an event. If you signed up for today's workshop, you use the event and registration, and we were able to collect information from you. We're able to tell if you are a Constant Contact member or not, so we're able to meet your needs. Next slide. We're able to take our presentations and gear them for the people who are coming to our events. The one thing about the online invitation, it allows you to do 2 things with EventSpot. It allows you to create an invitation as well as a registration form. So here's a sample of the invitation, and it has the logo and the graphics that it shows you. So it's branded with your information. There's a box over here that has the event and details, and one of the great things, it includes a map so people can actually map out how to get there from their starting point. And you're able to actually use create messaging and put the compelling messages in for the attendees. And then, like in any email that we do, you want to make sure you use an interesting subject line. Next slide.
Good one, Twanda.
Okay, this, when you look at it really quickly, the thing about registration forms is you don't want to overwhelm everything. I'm all for keeping everything simple. Here's a great example of what not to do. This registration form has entirely too many things that you're asking for. And so you don't want to irritate people to get them to sign up for your event, and you don't want to make it too difficult. So you want to ask less information. Go to the next slide. I'm going to show you what a nicely designed invitation registration form looks like. And this one is very simple. A great registration form should have a few things. Your organization's logo and graphic, which keeps it simple, keeps it branded. Your event name, a brief description of the event, and then just some simple form field, whether they're the date, the time, the location. And these form fields that are easy to fill out and understand. And I just want to go to the very next slide to just give you one more idea of the types of information you want to collect. So demographics, keep clicking through, Pam, and logistics are great. You want to know the number of guests they're bringing. If there are options for any sessions, if there's event-specific information, and guess what? You can actually collect payment information right through your event spots, events and registration. If you're interested in finding out more about how to work with events and registrations, I actually am doing a webinar on Tuesday, July 19th.
Awesome.
That's it. So Jackie, hopefully that answers your questions about why online events and registrations makes.
The question number 3 we received from Pat is, can I rename an email campaign after I send it? And yes, you sure can. So let me show you how. So when you are looking at that, in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to choose the campaign tab, and then you're going to click on the campaign name you want. So in this case, it's Crepes Fresco Menu. And the third thing you're going to do is in the drop down, in the upper right, when you get to that screen, you're going to have an Actions drop down menu, and you want to choose Rename from it. When you click on Rename, you're going to be able to the Crepes al Fresco, you're going to be able to rename that. And so type in a unique name. You can't type in a name that you've already used before. It's got to be a little unique. So sometimes if I'm using the same name, I may put a different date behind it, or this is version 2 or 3 or 4, you know, whatever the case might be, and then click Save. So habit number 1, when you are designing your email campaign, up in the upper left-hand corner, I want you to go in there and change the name in it. So you can rename it later like I just showed you, but get in the habit of doing that right from the get-go. So, and then to get out of that, you just click anywhere on the screen and you can go to the next part. It'll save it. The first good reason to do that is it makes it easier, because this one is what, if you don't do that, if you don't name your campaigns, give your campaigns a file name, and by the way, these are file names that you only see. These are not seen by your recipient. It will look just like this example that I'm showing you. So you want to give them unique, so that after you have, you know, after you have dozens and dozens of emails, that you can look and say, ah, that's the one I want, and get to it quickly. The second good reason is if you want to compare sent campaigns to see how they did, and it just has a generic name versus a name, how in the world are you going to compare what's what? So that's a second good reason. So thanks, and question number 4 is from Lisa. How can I resend an email to contacts who didn't open it the first time? Lynn.
Thank you, Pam. You can put all 3 of those points up.
Got it.
So how can I resend an email to contacts who didn't open it the first time? So the first thing I want to talk about is, hey, is that a good idea or is that not a good idea? Okay. Then we're going to talk about how, if you want to do that, some things that you need to be aware of. Reporting isn't perfect, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. And to be sure that we're not jiggling or poking away the spam monster, okay? Because there's that danger here if we resend an email to contacts after having sent it the first time. So go ahead to the next slide, Pam. Let's talk about whether or not this is a good idea. When you have contacts, you send out an email. Some people will open it and some won't, right? We all know that. So is it a good idea to send it again to those who didn't open it? And in fact, it is actually a great idea to spend a little bit of extra time and effort to try to win them back by sending out the same email. We don't, however, there's a way to do it right and there's a way to do it wrong, and we don't want to just blanketly send out the same exact email. Again, we want to twist it up or change it up or tweak it up a little bit when we send it out. So you can resend this to the people who didn't open it and see if you're tweaking, do some testing with your tweaking. See if you have a different subject line, if that gets more attention, or if you have a little bit different intro or images in the email. See if that makes some type of a difference in your open rate. So it is a great idea to do this as long as you follow these best practices. Go ahead to the next slide, Pam. So be aware of two things. First of all, the reporting is not perfect inside Constant Contact. The reporting along the lines of who opened your email the first time you sent it out. And this is not something that's unique or a defect of Constant Contact. This is true of every email program. So due to the way that opens are tracked, contacts who disable their images and don't click on any links, they can show up as people who didn't open your email, even if they actually did. So be aware of that. That's one of the reasons that we want to, because in some cases we might be sending this email a second time to the same people who already opened it. We just didn't get a report that they opened it. So that's why changing it up is also a good idea. And the other thing to be aware of is obviously no one likes spam. So resending the exact same email is a really, really good way to get a spam complaint. You don't want a spam complaint. If you get too many of those, and generally 1 in 1,000 is considered like the threshold of you're kind of okay if you get one spam complaint out of 1,000 sends, that rate is okay. Anything above that, you might be getting you should be starting to be concerned, and you might get somebody from Constant Contact calling you and seeing where you got your list from. So be aware of those two things before you decide to send out an email resend an email to people who haven't opened it. Next slide. So here is how to do that, all right? So the first thing is, click once more, Pam. I think there's, sorry, go back. So the first thing is to go into campaigns and find the email that you sent. So here's an example of an email that has already been sent out. Go back.
Okay, bear with me. Okay.
This is an email that has been sent. It was sent and 4 people opened it, okay, and there was 1 click. So there's some people who haven't opened this email that we want to resend this to. So that's your first step, is go and find the email that you want to resend that's already been sent. Next slide. Then find the campaign, open up that email and find the open rate and click on that blue open rate number, that 20% right there. Next slide. And then when you get to the list, you'll get a list of people who opened it. Go to, see that number 3 down the bottom left. Click on the people who did not open this particular email, and that list will populate to your right. Okay? So there's 5 people who did not open it, and over to the right will be the list of those 5 people. We're going to check, see what that number 4 is, that little box. If you check that box at the top, everybody in that list will be checked. Then go over to Manage Lists and select Add to List. So what we're doing here is we're going to take all of these people who did not open this email and put them in a brand new separate list. Go ahead to the next slide. Then we're going to select Create a New List. And number 7 is, you're going to type in the name of the list right there. So call it something that's probably going to be a temporary list. So call it something that is very descriptive and you know what it means. And then click number 8, Add, which essentially adds those 5 people to this new list that you created right here in this screen. Next slide. Then go back into your email programs. Find that email, copy it, and change the content and change the subject line. Okay, so we're going to make a copy here, just like the twins we see, but they're different, right? There's a different color blanket, and one is asleep and one is awake. So make sure that you change the content and change the subject line, and then schedule it for delivery to that list of 5 people that you just created. So that's how you send an email, resend an email to the people who did not open it. Then my final suggestion is go back in and see what the results are by sending it to those 5 people, or those people who didn't originally open it, and see if your tweaks made a difference. See if the time that you sent it out or the day that you sent it out made a difference, and you get some really good feedback from doing that, and you have an opportunity to re-engage those people who, for whatever reason, were not intrigued enough to open it the first time. I think that's it.
Thanks, Lynn. Elizabeth asked the number 5 question. The 5th question is, what's the best time to send my emails? Twanda.
Yes, take it away. So Constant Contact is always studying when is the best time to send the emails. You'll notice inside of your account, after you're ready to schedule your email, that Constant Contact gives you an option to send now, schedule for later, and then they have a suggested time. And that suggested time is based on not only industry standards, but based on some of the algorithms within your own account and when you're getting the most successful reads. But I wanted to share with you just some industry standards on days that are best to send. So if you're in the restaurant area, Monday morning, 7 a.m. is a great time to share information. If you are an accountant or you work with financial advisors, Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. are a great time. Hotels and bed and breakfasts, Wednesdays at 7 a.m. And that's what I love is religious organizations, Thursdays at noon. And that actually makes sense to me because you're getting ready for your worship services for the weekend coming up. You know, Thursday at noon is a great time to get you that information as you're starting to plan. And then if you're a crafter, on Friday mornings, early 5 a.m., I guess the assumption is that everyone has the weekends off on Saturday and Sundays. So you also want to be in that pre-mode for getting your crafting done for the weekend. Next slide. And even though those are some industry standards, there's a simple A/B testing that you can also do for yourself to see what's the best time for you to send your information. So Pam, go ahead and click the rest of the slide. So you can take your audience and say you have a list of 100 people and select and split that list in half and do one as list A, one as list B. Select 2 days in the week and send your email and watch to see which one gets the best open rate. So say you sent one on a Tuesday and one on a Saturday, and look to see which one got a better open rate. Once that's determined, and say Saturday is actually the date that got the best response, then the next time, take those same 2 audiences and on Saturday, send it at 2 different times. And so maybe send it one at 9 a.m. and one at 3 p.m. and see which time had the best open rate. And then I would use that as a good way to test and determine whether or not which date and time works for you. And so you'll know that Saturdays at 9 or 3 work best for you. So that's just a simple way for you to determine when is the best way and the best time to send your email. That's it for me, Pam.
All right. Question number 6 from Pauline. How can I make sure all my links work? That is a great question. And I'm going to say that's a great question because I just did what I tell everybody not to do. I put together an email, sent it out, and then I started getting emails, hey, your link doesn't work. Bad. I should know better than that. So there's 2 ways to check your links. So test the link when you build it, and second, send yourself a test email and test the links. So so this little guy, the safety, he's got his lifesaver on. These are going to be lifesavers, so you don't have to redo everything you've done already. So doing both is a great safety measure. So let's talk about how to do that. Build a link and test it. So you're going to go to a website that you want to link to and copy that web address. And you're going to highlight the words in your email that you want to link to and click the link button. When you click the link button, this window will come up. In the first section by number 3, there's a drop down there, and you can pick web page, email, or anchors. You want to pick web page because you're linking that URL to you're linking those words to a web page. And second of all, or number 4, the text to display as a link. Right now we highlighted the word website, but you can go in there and change that if you would like to change what it says. And then 5th, you're going to go in there and paste that URL that you copied earlier. And then the big safety button is a test the link. So test that before you go any further, and it will pop up and show you, hopefully, where you wanted to go. If not, go rework it until that gets right. So, and then when that works, you're going to click on Insert. Next, we want you to send a test version of the email. How do you do that? At the top, you're going to see Preview once you set up your email. And when you click on Preview, you're going to be able to see a desktop or a mobile version. And down where it says number 2, you're going to click on Send a Test Email. Now, when you get ready to, this window will pop up when you click Send Test Email. And it's going to give you the option of entering 5 email addresses to send to. You can send to 1 or up to 5. So that's the first thing you're going to do. Number 4, you're going to put in a note to, if you're sending it to other people besides yourself, put in a note because they're going to need to know, why are you sending this to me and what do you want me to do with it? So give them some instruction. And then 5, send a test, and that's going to send to all the addresses you've entered. And then to get out of that, you're going to click the X in the upper right-hand corner of that screen. So last but not least, check your inbox for that test email that you've sent yourself and proof the content, perfect time to proof it, and check all your links, every single link, even your social media links, things you've done. Just make sure they're all working. If it needs corrections, make them and retest. I can't say that word big enough, retest it if you've made the corrections. If it's working well and all is good, schedule it and send it. So that concludes that question. Ladies, do we have any other questions that came in?
We don't have any questions, but I wanted to share something real quick, because actually you called me last night, Pam, and asked me, how can I get a video that I see out there and kind of like pull it down for my site? Wasn't that your question or something? And so I wanted to share a really cool tool with our listeners where you can go basically find any video out on the internet and copy it down as a video file directly to your computer, which means then you can pretty much do anything you want with it. And before I tell you what this site is, I want to give a big caveat that you should never do this with a video that's copyrighted, because that's copyright infringement. And it is best practice and certainly will do you well if you contact the creator of that video and say, hey, I'd like to use your video on my site. I'll give you credit. I'd like to get your permission to do that. So before you do anything like this, make sure that you have your bases covered and that you're not violating somebody's copyrights or just not being a good business person. But that site is called KeepVid, KeepVid.com, keepvid.com. If you go to that site and you can simply put in a URL for whatever video you want, and it will download that video to your computer as an MP4, or it will even just strip out only the audio and you can have an MP3 audio of that particular video. So I use that little tool all the time so that I can, use videos but not have to be captive to wherever they happen to be hosted. But again, make sure that you're getting permission and or notifying the people that you're going to be using their video, and if they're like-minded, they will be glad that you're doing so as well. So that's one little tip I wanted to give this morning.
Lynn, thanks for that. That's a great tip. By the way, Lynn is the video queen of the three of us. I would say she's the go-to person on video questions, and she's just excellent. I think Twanda and I know some about video, but Lynn is the video queen. So thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Well, this concludes our session today, and what I'd like to do is tell you that if you go to blogsconstantcontact.com and /events, you can search by state, by upcoming events that are in our state, or if you happen to be traveling, you can look in another state. But upcoming, we've got getting started with events in Constant Contact, and that's Twanda's event. And then on July 19th, I think Lynn is doing what to say and how to say it in Phoenix. And I'm doing a live demonstration on Generation 3 email editing in Tucson on the 27th. And then in August, the nitty-gritty how-tos of grabbing attention and looking good. And that's in Phoenix?
That's regarding email, not yourself. Although we can talk about that too.
Oh, good point, Lynn. And
it's
Lynn,
not the pickup. It's not the pickup.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Now, and I just want to mention that getting started with events in Constant Contact is a webinar, so you can be anywhere and watch that.
Okay.
So the next WTF webinar is August 19th, and Lynn Ruby will be hosting it, and co-hosted by Twanda and Pam, and we hope you can join us. And if you go to WTFwebinar.com, you can sign up and register for it. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you all have a good weekend. Ladies?
Thank you, Pam. Good job.
Thanks, Pam.
Okay, well, thanks for joining me, you guys. It was fun.
Yay.
And okay, well, you all have a good weekend. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.